Good morning, UC Bearcat fans. It's James Lewis and Mark Fightmaster of the UC Bearcats on the Prowl. We're excited to, as always, be part of the Grueling Truth Radio Network. Mark, what's going on with the Bearcats?
Well, James, we get to, we missed last week, but we get to talk about the big win over Notre Dame. 24-13, I believe, was the final. To tell you the truth, it got to the point where I wasn't even paying attention to the final score. I was so excited, for them. We talked at the beginning of the year. This was the potential for a season-defining win. And, it appears that it may right now, they moved up to fifth, I think. Is that what I saw?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds right.
So, obviously the pollsters believe that it was a big win. So, we'll see what happens from here out.
Definitely. Yeah, I was going to say there's obviously some good things in looking at that. I mean, heck, if they're fifth, we got Bama and Georgia at some point have to play because conference championship. And then Iowa and Penn State, they're in the same conference, so at some point they have to play.
Actually, they played this weekend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's good news. So somebody's got to lose because there's no tying in college football. So, yeah.
Right, and you're right, James. My concern, and we have voiced this before, okay? So this isn't me trying to be down on anything that UC did. It's the conference. Now they're in conference play. We have seen what has happened to teams in the past when they haven't beaten somebody the way that people expect them to. They drop, what we have, Alabama and Georgia will play each other, at some point in time. And my question is, would a close loss by the number 2 team to the number 1 team drop them down below 5? And I just don't know. Penn State and Iowa. This is going to sound weird to say, but UC fans need to be Ohio State fans for the next few weeks because Ohio State will play Penn State. So let's say Penn State beats Iowa. Mm-hmm. Iowa drops. Penn State moves up. And then Ohio State beats Penn State drops, UC moves up. The problem then becomes Ohio State has some quality teams left on its schedule, and on top of that, they have a game against Indiana at Indiana, which, UC has already gone through. And if for some reason it comes down to UC versus Ohio State eye test, who do they go with? So, they would look at that Indiana game. But, bottom line is UC needs to run it out, win it out, and run the score up a lot. And go from there.
They love giving Ohio State the benefit of the doubt. I mean, it just makes no sense. They're number 7. How are they number 7? Oregon is number 8. Oregon, who beat them, is number 8. Yeah, I don't get it.
Well, and James, I'm a lifelong Ohio State fan. So and you see, obviously, you see a lump. What I see happening with that is that Rutgers team that they beat the week before, Michigan, who is they're now 9th, 10th now.
Michigan's 9th.
Only beat Rutgers 20-13. And that was at Michigan, I believe. Ohio State went out and boat raced them at Rutgers. So I think that's probably why we saw them jump so much. Oregon, now you see that's the thing, Oregon did Ohio State no favors by losing to Stanford.
Exactly.
Because Ohio State's loss is, it's still a quality loss, if you want to call it that. I mean, okay,
it was a home loss, though.
Oh,
how do you?
I know.
Yeah.
I know, man. I don't disagree with you. But as an Ohio State fan, I can tell you this. There's a lot of people already comparing this season to 2014 for Ohio State, which is the year they lost to Virginia Tech early, came back, went through a decently solid Big Ten, and ended up making it into the playoffs over I can't remember who, over USC, I believe.
Yeah.
And so, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. My hope is that UC just goes out, handles their business, and goes from there. You know what I'm saying? gets in there. I would love to see this Ohio State team play against Alabama. I would love to see, UC team, sorry. God, forgive the slip of the tongue. I'd love to see this UC team play against Alabama. I'd love to see him play against Georgia just to see, because I think it would be an interesting game on both fronts.
I agree with you. And then, of course, going back to this week, the big game, they won. I mean, it was their first time winning against a top 10 team on the road, in the history of the program.
Yeah, James, it's funny. I was listening to a podcast earlier, and they were talking about, I forget which one it was, but they were talking about, in 1999, UC lost to Troy State at UC. How far have they come since then, man? Yeah. On top of that, how far have we come since Tuberville?
Very true.
Seriously, this is the kind of thing where we as Bearcats fans should be riding high. A huge high. And they were at Notre Dame. You watch that game on TV, you look at pictures, it looked like Christmas there with all the red and green, because there were so many UC fans there. They were, gosh, you could hear them chanting, "Let's go Bearcats," or "Let's go UC." On the TV, you could hear that. That's so awesome, man. This is just such an awesome win for the program. My thing is, what we as UC fans need to do is focus on the program and not focus on, they beat Brian Kelly, they beat Notre Dame, ha, ha, ha. We need to focus on where we, the future now. The UC thing is, or the Notre Dame thing's over, the Brian Kelly thing is over, all that crap, So let's let that go and focus on the future.
Well, I think it's all about the present, because 39-13, it's one of the best 5-year season stretches in UC's history. They're up there. Just, they're doing all the right things, and it's just something worth enjoying.
I agree, brother. I think that it is. This is fun. This is good stuff. And we can worry about some things with is Luke Fickell leaving, that kind of stuff. But I think Mike Tirico made plenty of good points on why he will stay at Cincinnati. My dad said the same kind of stuff. He is so invested here that we need to just really enjoy what's going on, man. We need to love this and see where it goes from here. Now when Desmond Ridder graduates, what happens? When Sauce Gardner leaves, when my Jay Sanders goes, who's stepping up for him? We'll see. But you're right. We need to enjoy this right now.
So you're saying when Ridder goes, will they have an athletic quarterback with a strong arm? That's a good leader. Huh.
Yeah. I believe they will. Let's see if it happens. I think
they've already got one. He's not there yet, but he's already in the program. That's the great part about it.
Yeah. So it'll be fun. Hey, just a little trivia thing. Do you know who recruited Desmond Ridder to UC?
Desmond Ridder. He got me on that one.
In Cincinnati.
Oh.
Right now, he's coaching in Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, the head coach of the Bengals.
Zach Taylor.
Zach Taylor.
You are correct. He recruited him away from Eastern Kentucky to play here in Cincinnati. Somebody asked Zach Taylor about it at his press conference yesterday, I think. Mm-hmm. And he deflected it all. He's like, "Hey, man, I just saw a good player. Other than that, I've got nothing to do with his development. This kid's incredible. I've got nothing to do with that. It's the coaching staff that did that." So I found that interesting.
Definitely. But, he deserves the credit, which I know he's not looking for. But the fact that he did see that despite no one else really wanting him, when EKU is your next choice in line, it wasn't like he went and picked him from another major college program. So it wasn't like they talked him out of going there. It was like, hey, would you rather go to here? And they're, of course. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just Desmond Ritter is such a cool story. Yeah,
yes.
And they touched on that during the game. The relationship with his mom and everything, and just to watch him have that drive, that he had. I think they're calling it the Desmond Drive on some of the local stuff, and to see how he interacted with the UC fans afterwards, just man, that was cool, wasn't it?
Definitely. And it's really nice, that whole family thing that they got going on, and just as opposed to it just being kind of a cold sport where they're really embracing the fact that he is a family man.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. We're it's rare that we say this as Cincinnati sports fans, but we're lucky right now with this UC team. We've got a very relatable team that we enjoy watching and that loves playing and is good. And instead of being typical Cincinnati fans and trying to figure out ways that this is going to come crashing down, you said it, let's live in the present and enjoy the ride.
Exactly. Because, oh my gosh, after the last couple games where the first half was awful and then the second half was great, fortunately they came out early, 17-0, really did the work in that second quarter, heck, even in the first quarter with the turnovers.
Yeah.
So it really didn't have that fear and dread that normally comes with Cincinnati sports.
You're right. I felt the fear and dread until Sauce picked off the pass. And then when he picked off that pass in the end zone, I believe it was Sauce, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
When he picked that pass off, I was like, you know what? It's going to be okay. So, yeah, you're right, man. It was good. It was good stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, he ended up he got the first one, and then they had the other one later in the game with Pace.
Yep. Yeah, good. Such good stuff. Such a fun game. We need to enjoy it.
Definitely. Now, however, even though we weren't rooting for Notre Dame, we're not Notre Dame people, was it number 87 really impressed me?
Yeah, that's, his name's escaping me. It's double M's, Mike something, the kid from Covcath.
Yeah.
He is a good tight end, and I thought he was going to present a lot of problems for the Cats. And he did early, but they figured it out. So I think he's got a good future ahead of him. And, I'm glad that they were able to hold him down.
They figured it out, but also he ended up having that injury. Isn't he the one that was limping around there?
I believe he was limping around, James. It's all a little bit of a blur to me still,
Definitely.
But, yeah, I believe he was a little hobbled.
Yeah, because it was weird a couple times. Like he'd be out of the game, and then he'd come back in, and he's all limping, and Willis reading it up and making some big plays.
Yeah, he did. It didn't stop him from making plays.
Oh, definitely. So, of course, that game is in the books, like you said. We enjoyed it, but now we got to focus on this week's game, Friday night football. Normally, I know everyone's got their favorite local high school team, but it sounds like this is going to be the place to be at UC this Friday night.
Yeah, and James, I'm drawing a blank. Who they playing?
Temple.
That's right. God, I hate Temple. There's always just that edge. They've gotten us before. So now we're going to see how this team responds with being the hunted instead of being the hunter. Because now with that win over Notre Dame, if this wasn't the case before, they are the biggest game on everybody's schedule.
Exactly.
UC is everybody's biggest game. So they're going to be taking their shots at them. Can the defense and the offense hold up, and withstand? We'll see. I believe they can. I believe Desmond Ritter's makeup is to survive and to lead and to be that guy. So I'm hoping that it's going to be an easy game. I kind of foresee it. So.
Yeah, because, fortunately they have Fickle. He's not going to let him overlook them. He knows about the past, how Temple has bitten UC in the past. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I don't think that'll be a problem. I agree with you. So we're saying 46-22?
What did you say? I'm sorry.
46-22?
Yeah, I'm thinking if Temple scores that much, man, I'm thinking
that's true. Yeah, I was going to say after them shutting Notre Dame down, heck, yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking 35-7 range, 42-7, maybe 14.
Yeah, 42. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but man, it's interesting, James. Our defense. You mentioned that against Notre Dame, and we've mentioned his name a couple times, Sauce Gardner. I saw a mock draft already. I know it's a sickness, but I looked it up. That has both Sauce and my Jay Sanders going in the first round. Late in the first round, but both of them going first round. When's the last time we talked about that? Two defensive players going in the first round for the Bearcats.
Exactly. So. And it's not like they're going to be the only two going. I mean, they would be probably the only two in the first round, but Kobe Bryant is got to be a second-day draft, I would think.
I would think so. I think Desmond Ridder works his way in there. I mean, you're talking about Desmond Ridder for Heisman. I mean, come on. Yeah.
So, there's a lot of really great things going on at UC, and it just is the right time. So, fans, if they haven't got their tickets yet, I definitely recommend getting a hold of UC and getting some of those tickets. And shoot, a lot of times you might even have to go with the secondary market, so that way you can see UC play Temple this Friday night.
Hey, get there and watch one of the top 5 teams in the country play some football.
Exactly. So as always, it's been a pleasure doing this show with you tonight. Any final thoughts?
No, hey, like you said, James, you called it. Let's live in the present and enjoy this, because who knows how long it'll last. Let's have fun. Let's watch the Bearcats. Let's cheer them on and let's get some wins and see what happens.
Well, for Mark Fightmaster and James Ernest, this has been UC Bearcats on the Prowl, part of the Grueling Truth Radio Network.